10 seconds. Two seconds. I'll let you hear Mitch's sweet, beautiful voice.
Okay.
Yes.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live audience there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, and much, much more. We appreciate each and every one of you. Today's show, super excited about it. We have a very cool guest. How cool, you ask? Well, he's actually the voiceover of a new book, We Begin at the End. And this particular actor, known by many in, I'll give you a hint, Scandal, Father of the Bride, and Superman. Yeah, that's right. Justice League's very own Superman, the animated series. We're going to be speaking to none other than George Newbern here. Coming up around the corner. Super excited about this. George is one of which, if you got to have Batman or Superman, you hope you have Superman at the ready. And he'll be joining us just in a little bit, talking about his, not just his roles there, but obviously this book, We Begin at the End, and why he took on this particular project and how it is already known as a #1 indie next pick. It's a breakout thriller of the year. And we'll be talking about his character that, of course, he, because I always ask that question in my head. I think I've listened to audiobooks. I don't know about you, Jesse. Have you listened to any audiobooks as of recently?
As of recently, no, but I used to. I listened to the Percy Jackson series.
Oh, really?
And, yeah.
And a good actor can either like make it or break it, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Based on the voices, because I always, I used to listen back in the day when I was in sales and I was in the car a lot when we had CDs. Remember those? Some cars have them. Some cars you're like, where's the CD player? Some of the newer cars don't have the CD players anymore. But the reality is, you would put that in, pop that in. Now it's all audible, right? It's all internet enabled and whatnot. So some people actually still subscribe to that. I have not. I liked the CD player. I don't know why. I feel like somebody old when they talk about the 8-track. But my point is, Dean Koontz. I remember getting caught up on Dean Koontz on some of his books. By the Light of the Moon, that great book. I did not see the ending coming as it did. And again, Dean Koontz is known more for his Supernatural series, but this one was more of a origin story of a comic, which oddly enough, like a superhero type team up story. Which By the Light of the Moon, if you get a chance to check that out. Do that. Dean Koontz we've had here on the show in the past as well. But back to character actors or voice actors, you can either make it or break it based on the tone of it all, right? Because I remember hearing one other book, which I was like, I'm not getting it. I'm not feeling it. But you always wonder about how they do the women's voices, right? While sounding believable. So there you go. I have yet to listen to this particular story, but we all know Superman of Justice League rocks it, especially Justice, right? Or Injustice. If you play the video games, you'll know his voice. So there you go. We're gonna be talking to him around the corner. Super excited about that. And if you've watched Scandal, then you already know who I'm talking about, George Newbern. So we'll be talking to him around the corner. All right. Lots of stories, including what today is: National Johnny Appleseed Day, National Oatmeal Nut Waffles Day, National Promposal Day, National Worship of Tools Day, National Funeral Director and Mortician Recognition Day, World Kidney Day, and National 311 Day. Which of these will you want to celebrate today, Jesse?
Oh my God, there are so many to choose from. I'm not quite sure. I kind of want to give some recognition to the morticians because you know what? They're the ones that make us look good after we're dead, right?
You kind of think about that every now and then. Never, right?
Right.
Unless they have a day.
Or you can just be like funeral pyre. But what I want to say, what's Johnny Appleseed? I want to know. I remember this story, but I can't recall it.
So you wanted to take, okay, so you got to choose one, buddy. I personally want 311. I'm like, what does 311 do? But I guess everybody's going
to let's go with 311. What is that? That's actually intriguing.
Right. It's kind of, it keeps you safe with the morticians, right? That mortician will be like, how dare you, Jesse? I'm gonna mess you up on your last day. Let's see. Since the creation of the 911 emergency system, non-emergency calls have slowed operators' response times to true emergencies. In 96, Maryland adopted the first 311 system as a way to ease pressure on the overburdened 911 system. It's a source for communities around the country to connect with their city and non-emergency services. It's the non-emergency number to call in many cities for residents to report issues, find out about city services, and ask questions. The new system freed up emergency phone lines and shortened wait times for emergency calls, helping 911 dispatchers get emergency services to folks that need them more quickly, saving lives. The 311 system invited the citizens to be the eyes and ears of the city while more closely connecting the public sector to its citizens. Citizens called the 311 number to report concerns they noticed in their cities, like graffiti, road, park, or fence damage, debris on the road, noise, trees needing to be trimmed. I've always wondered who was the person to call for that, and illegal parking. The 311 system is available in most major cities and is spreading to smaller towns across the U.S. A 311 system saves lives by diverting non-emergency calls from the 911 system. So there you go. I think 911 should just say, if it's not an emergency, can you call back 311, right? Nobody notifies you about 311. So there you go. I feel smarter for having done that. Call 311. What's 311? Just call it. It's not an emergency. There you go. Let's see. Maria in social media, good morning. It says Dean Coots, one of my top favorites there. There you go. Maria says Waffles Day. That's lunch after this show. I appreciate you so much. You say it's the snitch line, huh?
There was a part where you were talking about describing it. I was like, oh, that sounds like a snitch line.
Because you were a graffiti man, weren't you?
No, I would never
Did you tag
do that.
things? You tagged things as a kid, I bet.
I didn't. No, I wouldn't do that. I actually think that's stupid because a lot of that stuff is horrible. Like I like graffiti art.
Yeah.
But like the people that just decide to put their names or initials, it's dumb.
Well, I will say this. The art, and I've met graffiti artists that have done it illegally that turn around and make like money out of it, right? They don't do it. They actually get commissioned. And then there's this whole like copyright issue, which if you show any of their work, you get like, I mean, it's a whole protected thing, which I agree with you when there's, I love graffiti artists, but a lot of these graffiti artists just were not shown how to do things legally. Does that make sense? So they want to draw. Now the ones that just do their names and tag, you know, their gang affiliation or their, you know, their name like Snoopy or what are the other ones? Dum 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 and or Get a Life. Just those ones, which, you know, because I feel bad for places where you have to like cover it over because they want to make sure that they tag their area. I'm like, okay, that's ridiculous. But go get, you know, an artist job and then, you know, make some money at it. And there's some that just have been misguided along the way. It's not their fault, right? And those I completely have compassion for. But when you think about it, you know, you almost want them to get caught so that they could do community time and then be like, okay, now do you still want to do that? Right. But is it worth like a lockup offense? No. Is it one of which you go, okay, can you please stop doing that? And then give them the tools of the trade, maybe hook them up with a really good artist and then go from there. Yeah, I think so. So there you go. Newsom is confirming LA County on the verge of moving to red tier. What does that mean? Is that good? Is that bad? Which tier is that?
Good question. Are we still doing the color tier?
I don't know. So
honestly, I think California is all in purple no matter what you do.
Yeah, according to this, LA County will be cleared to escape the most restrictive tier of the state's economic reopening blueprint by Friday, when a goal will be met of administering 2 million vaccines in low-income, hard-hit communities across California. It's the purple tier that's the worst tier, so you don't want purple. Meanwhile, a decision is expected Thursday on whether LA County will allow all businesses under the less restrictive red tier to actually reopen, most notably indoor dining at restaurants. Under a plan announced last week, once the state hits the 2 million dose milestone and low-income communities, the state's blueprint for a safer economy that governs business reopenings will be adjusted, making it easier for counties to advance through the 4-tier matrix. As of Wednesday, the state had administered 1.9 million doses in hard-hit communities. Newsom said the 2 million mark will be reached by Friday. When that mark is met, counties will be able to move out of the most restricted purple tier of the blueprint when their average rate of daily infections reaches 10 per 100,000 residents. So there you go. Now, under the new guidelines, LA and Orange counties would both immediately qualify to move to the less restrictive red tier since they've both been under a certain number there. LA County's new case rate, of course, is one of which they're watching very closely. But the red tier allows counties to reopen indoor restaurants, fitness centers, and movie theaters while also increasing capacity at retail stores and shopping malls. Newsom said during a visit, Southern California, you will be a beneficiary of this, specifically LA will be a big beneficiary of this new metric that likely will be met on Friday. Moving through the weekend and into next week, you'll see more activity, more loosening of the tiers. That's encouraging. I hope people will be enthusiastic about what this means moving forward because we have a series of other thresholds and other goals that will allow us to move forward with more clarity, more conviction, and more confidence as we move through the next few weeks and the next few months. So there you go. Some interesting statements there, and I think everybody's trying to be hopeful on this. Again, I would be very cautious towards throw caution in the wind on this. Just because they do doesn't mean that you're free of coronavirus. So in the coming months, I'm sure we're going to see up and down spikes and or lack of it, but we'll see what happens. Up or down, still make sure you're not the one to get it. All right, people, we got to take a quick break. When we get back, it is coming up next. Super excited about this. Superman is here. That's right. That's all I got to say. I know, right? Like, that's cool to be able to say that. Superman's here. Answer the door or the phone. We'll be right back.
KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
The staff and families at Custom Care Solutions caregivers take this time out to recognize and salute the Palm Desert men and women in uniform, standing tall for our political and economic freedoms around the world. Let's always remember them in our thoughts and prayers. Their efforts abroad and our support have kept America strong. That message was courtesy of your good friends at Custom Care Solutions Caregivers, 42201 Beacon Hill in Palm Desert. They're always working to keep our community moving in a positive direction.
Are you a self-published author that maybe underestimated the challenges of marketing your own book? I'm Suzanne Lynn, and we help authors sell more books through video interviews and radio advertising. You see, a professional video interview is really an author's secret weapon for marketing because it makes an emotional connection with your reader that can be posted to social media, YouTube, your book's landing page and website, your Amazon author page, and even sent to media to request interviews. We guarantee that video interview will be viewed by a minimum of 3,000 people in your target audience. And let's face it, no one can sell your book better than you speaking about it yourself. Plus, we can run commercials on our nationwide network of radio stations that targets your specific reading audience. Find out more at GiveMyBookWings.com. That's GiveMyBookWings.com. Again, GiveMyBookWings.com.
For generations, alligators have weathered nature, biological threats, and predators. How do they do this? The answer is in their uncanny DNA. Alligators have one of the strongest immune systems in the animal kingdom. Their fat cells contain the essential oils needed to fight off deadly infection and rejuvenate skin. How can you benefit from the alligator's amazing rejuvenating powers? Cayman oil. Cayman oil is the revitalizing and healing power of the alligator in a bottle. Cayman oil is carefully purified and refined with an added hint of vitamin E and lavender to better harness the alligator's ability to heal worn and damaged skin. Treat dry skin, infections, cuts, burns, scarring, eczema, rashes, muscle and joint pain, and more. Even athlete's foot. It's clinically proven to kill the flesh-eating bacteria MRSA. This really works. We guarantee it or your money back. Go to mycayman.com, MyCaimon.com. That's mycayman.com.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining us right now is somebody who knows a lot about flying around the world and visiting each and every country with his special ability of, I don't know, can you, have you worked on your laser eye system over there, George? We got George Newbern with us.
No, but, I have worked on a medicine that helps with flesh-eating bacteria in athlete's foot. That was my lead-in, apparently. I just heard that advertisement. I was like, what? Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You
got
to work on that. It's something to be aware of, right?
Yeah, it is something to be aware of. Sometimes the laser eyes will work on flesh-eating bacteria and fungal toe issues.
Yeah, look, George, obviously you are good with that. A question though, obviously, George, look, I know we're not here to talk about Superman, but I mean, come on, it's Superman. Your voice being able to be very recognizable, but of course, just the same as your acting ability. Scandal, obviously, I know a lot of people that are just like, they wish it could just continued. Obviously, now you're doing books and audiobooks, and you've been doing as a voiceover actor lately. We Begin at the End by Chris Whitaker is a story which you've been able to do. I got to ask on this particular book, though, I mean, was it like, do you read them ahead of time and then do it? How do you place the reading part, and how many takes do you do to get it right in case you stutter?
Well, in case I stutter.
I always wonder.
I don't, usually these books are about 300 or 400 pages. And at any given time, I'm working on probably 2 or 3 books at once. And I don't honestly have the time to read every single page of every book. So you have to kind of do the research. If you're doing a fiction, like a whodunit or a mystery, you need to know the story, and you need to sort of break it down and know who's speaking and who the main characters. I do the plotting of it. So I know where I'm going with it, and I've got the characters down. But in terms of how many takes you do, you're just doing it. Dan Musselman, who runs Penguin Random House Audio, said to me, he said, "Just tell the story. Just tell the story," and that's as simple as that. You have to slow down and know where you're going and tell the story. And if you mess up, you can always go back with the cursor and delete sections. It's, you're in control of it. So you have to speak slower than you would normally in real life.
Got it. That makes sense.
Sort of paint the picture in their head. You got to just slow down, take a breath, and let people see in their minds what you're describing.
Yeah, because I've often wondered, like, would I ever want to have that job? And then I go, okay, because it's one thing for me to pick up a book and tell a story to like a little kid. It's another thing to be like, okay, everybody's going to hear my voice. But obviously you're used to this. This is your, and this is great during coronavirus. Correct me if I'm wrong, because as a job, you just can just.
It's actually, I've been busier during the pandemic than I was before. That's for sure.
Yeah, great for any skin eating flesh disease. But okay, question.
Yeah.
Look, these are our advertisers. We love them. Okay. Really quick question. Your particular draw to this book, though, because every book has its own theme. I understand this is one of the breakout thrillers of the year, a #1 indie next pick.
Oh, wow. Cool. This book is really quite good, honestly. And I've read the books you get. I don't really control necessarily the quality of the writing, and it's really a joy when you get a book that is super engrossing, and I can lose myself in it while I'm doing it, and it's enjoyable. It's not like a grind. This is really kind of fun to wake up and do this book. It takes place over 30 years in Northern California, and this sort of town that's sort of on the downside, sort of in need of a perk up,
Right.
And the protagonist is two characters that ping pong back and forth. The sheriff, who's battling health issues and sort of trying to help out this 13-year-old girl, Duchess, who's raising her little brother. It's basically, she just gets everything thrown at her. She's sort of like Tatum O'Neal in Paper Moon. She's a scrappy, cynical, funny little girl who's trying to survive. And her mother dies early, and she has no money, and she's trying to, make appearances that everything's okay. And she gets sent to her grandfather. Everything that could happen does happen to her. So you just, you're rooting for her. And I don't know, I don't want to say the ending, but it's a satisfying ending and appropriate. And it's about redemption and love and loss and sacrifice and all those good things. And the characters are really, really well drawn. So I think people are going to love it. It'll be a great movie, actually.
Well, it's interesting you say that. So would you, if it were made into a movie, A, would you make it into a movie? And is that next for you? And B, would you want to step behind as a director?
No, I would kill to get to make this movie, to be in it and or get it made. It would be lovely. I would think it would be insane. I'm sure the rights are gone at this point, but it would definitely be one to hang on to.
Well, it's always something to ask. I know one they would gobble up series and then they would just sit on them, right? They would have the option and then they would never get made.
All the time.
Yeah,
it happens. We actually tried to get a book. I narrated. We had a producer friend of mine, and we bid on it. We lost out. Somebody paid a crap ton of money for this book, and it's really good. And I thought we would sneak in there and get it, but we couldn't.
Yeah,
somebody else. First.
I met one which was like, I think they did The Road to Perdition, and they were just gobbling up stories, and I was like, but how many of these do you get made is the question, and especially now. But I have to before we let you go, because I know you got a huge tour on this. We've already got Maria says Superman, Batman and Superman, yes, from Algenia Kirsten. Look, I can't let you go without at least saying what you love about that series, and probably one of the best memories in doing that.
It's such an honor, and it's an honor to get to do it. Such an iconic character, and I've been doing it for 17 years, and in games and movies and on television. And now recently I've been going to these conventions and getting to meet the fans who grew up with this Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and all of it. So it's just been, I don't know, a gift and kind of I feel like I have, it's kind of to take care of it and make sure that, I don't screw that up. It's just been a lovely, almost out-of-body experience to get to do it, really.
Well, you definitely epitomize Superman the right way for justice and for truth, so keep it up. We begin at the end. Cannot wait to see more of this. What's next for you that we can look forward to?
I just got a bunch more books coming out, and just auditioning and taping myself for auditions in my little studio and sending it out to the universe. So we'll see what comes back.
All right, keep doing it, buddy. George Newbert, everybody, go follow him on Twitter and Facebook. We'll see you very soon. All right, George.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, George Newbert, everybody, go check out the latest book that he narrates. Again, for somebody to say, I wish this were a movie and I would love to do it. We Begin at the End is definitely one that you should pick up and or hear the audiobook, and then you could hear him actually narrate it. How cool is that? All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the morning show. When we get back, we got more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
When it comes to health and well-being, cellular hydration is the key. You could say that hydration is the key to every wellness program. And structured water in its natural state, is the key to cellular hydration. Most of the water available to us has been processed for purity, safety, and convenience. But processing causes water to lose its natural hexagonal structure, with unfortunate effects for our bodies. Now you can take your personal hydration to a whole new level with the glassware that restructures water in just 3 minutes. Golden Ratio Products brings you these amazing water bottles, carafes, and drinking glasses which put the life back into the water you drink. Try it and you'll be amazed at the effects you feel in your body. Go to goldenratioproducts.com for the next phase of your water consciousness.
Tried shipping a package lately? It's amazing how difficult and time-consuming it can be. Packing, envelopes, boxes, second-day ground, next-day air, it's all enough to give you a headache. Next time, do yourself a favor, go with the pros at the UPS store in Beaumont. They'll pack it right and let you know all your shipping options. You can also take care of everyday tasks like copies, faxing, notary services, and live scan fingerprinting. And while you're there, pay your Edison, gas company, and Verizon bills. Open extended hours Monday through Saturday. The UPS store in Beaumont, located in the Oak Valley Plaza at 1440 Beaumont Avenue. Call 951-769-5956. That's 951-769-5956. Online at the upsstorelocal.com/5027 or Google 5027.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state? Did you miss sending out a prior year tax return? The IRS is out to collect now more than ever, and they'll use any means necessary. They legally can and will garnish your wages, take your money, and even seize your property. If you're behind on your taxes, call the tax relief hotline right now at 951-224-9000. That's 951-224-9000. 951-224-9000. You can legally get your tax debt under control and in many cases get the breathing room you need. Garnish wages, property seizures, bank levies can stop immediately, but you have to call. Many of our specialists are IRS enrolled agents. They know the system and how to make it work for you. Don't wait for the IRS to come down on you. Act now so you can get your tax debt under control. Call the Riverside office today for free info at 951-224-9000. That's 951-224-9000. 951-224-9000.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. If you're looking for a good book, go check it out. We Begin at the End by Chris Whitaker, and we were joined by a voiceover artist extraordinaire and actor, George Newbern. Of course, you'll recognize him from Father of the Bride, who played the future son-in-law. Remember that, of course, with Steve Martin. And of course, that was a fun show as well. I think they made 3 out of that. And great film as well. Scandal. If you've seen Scandal, of course, you know him already. And you'll know his voice often as Justice League's very own Superman. So how cool is that? That's one of those really like fun jobs to be able to be called on, right, Jesse? To be like, hey, can you come in and do another Justice League or video game and then go play it? I love that he loves Sailor Moon. Did you catch that reference?
No, I did not catch that. When did he say that?
Yeah, he referred to Sailor Moon. He's like, oh, she's like the character from Sailor Moon. And I was like, I wanted to go there, but then I thought I had so many comic questions. Like I wanted to keep him like a good full hour, but we only had a little bit of time to feature that book. So I didn't want to make it all about, but you could tell he likes animations. I like it. Anime. Yep. So there you go. All right. What? It's the thing. I don't watch Sailor Moon, actually. That was the one that I wouldn't know. But, the fact that he knows Sailor Moon is he probably knows the voiceover actress for Sailor Moon, I bet. I guarantee. So there you go. All right. But you can check him out. Again, he does the circuit of comic conventions quite often. So whenever you get to go to a comic convention, you'll most likely see him and all the great fans that he was talking about. It is fun to see many of these actors, which you're like, wait a minute, you're on, and wow, I didn't know you were the voice. And then you kind of put one and one together and they go, yeah. And you're like, oh, that's cool. Do it for me. And then they do it and you're like, oh. So there you go. Pretty cool stuff. At least that's how I would be when we had comic conventions, which I'm hoping they bring them back. So top of the question here is what's going on with the COVID-19 relief bill? House Democrats passed the $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief bill with the goal of having it on President Joe Biden's desk by the end of the week, days before key federal unemployment benefits start to expire for many workers on March 14th. By a 220 to 211 vote, with no Republicans voting in favor, Democrats handed Biden the legislative victory. The White House said he would sign the measure into law on Friday. According to this, Biden said in a statement, quote, for weeks now, an overwhelming percentage of Americans, Democrats, independents, and Republicans have made it clear they support the American Rescue Plan. Today, with final passage in the House of Representatives, their voice has been heard. Biden said in a statement praising House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who spoke on the House floor just before the vote. She said, quote, "Today we have a decision to make of tremendous, tremendous consequence, a decision that they will make a difference for millions of Americans, saving lives and livelihoods. And with all of the decisions, it's a decision that we will have to answer for. We will give the American Rescue Plan a resounding and hopefully bipartisan vote to reflect the bipartisan support that it has in the country. We will get to work immediately to deliver life-saving resources springing from this bill as soon as it is passed and signed, as we join President Biden in his promise that at last help is on the way for the people, for the children. I urge a yes vote." One Democrat did join Republicans in voting against the measure. That was Representative Jared Golden of Maine, which had cited concerns about the cost and scope of the legislation. After the measure was approved, top House and Senate Democratic leaders gathered on the West Terrace of the Capitol building to enroll the piece of legislation. So what it covers and how much it covers, I don't have that information just yet. We'll be working on that. According to this, though, the bill would send $1,400 stimulus checks to individuals making $75,000 or less, and to couples earning up to $150,000. The Senate's version of the bill narrowed eligibility for the stimulus checks. The payments would phase out those earning more than $80,000. That means many who qualified for earlier rounds of payments will not be receiving one this time around. Democratic leaders also forced to trim back weekly jobless benefits to $300 from $400 with the federal boost through September 6th. The first $10,200 of income from those jobless Americans making under $150,000 would be tax-free. The bill includes a child tax credit that gives families $3,000 per child per year. The legislation sends $350 billion to state, local, and tribal governments, $50 billion for contact tracing, $16 billion for vaccine distribution, $130 billion for K through 12 education, funds for rental and mortgage assistance, support for restaurants and bars, funding for nutrition programs, and more. The White House has said Americans who qualify for the stimulus check should see payments hit their accounts before the end of the month. Thursday, Biden will make his first primetime address to commemorate the one-year anniversary of the COVID-19 shutdown. He will discuss the sacrifices the American people have made over the last year and the grave loss communities and families have suffered. The president will look forward, highlighting the role that Americans will play in beating the virus and getting the country back to normal. Now, I will say this. As much as all of this is really good and well and fine, I appreciate and I'm glad that they're finally doing it. But please, please, please do not throw caution to the wind. Again, we're right back to where we started a year ago. This was the time where people started, if you remember, we had a huge spike at the end of, I believe, mid-March to late March, which is why, remember, Trump actually did make it so that people did go on a full lockdown. Okay. So my point in saying that is, although we have a handle on it, we cannot be just, oh, we've got vaccines, we've got payments, now we're back to the way it goes, because I feel some people have a very short attention span. Does that make sense, Jesse?
Huh? What? You're talking?
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's the way it is, right? No, it's fine. We got the vaccine. And I just had this conversation the other day where those that are going to get the vaccine or have had the vaccine go, oh, I'm fine, don't worry about it. But they don't realize, A, they can still get it. B, it doesn't mean they're immune to it. It just means that their body is now more equipped for it. And at the same time, then there's different strains that are coming out. So, it's all well and good. Yay. I appreciate it, but it's not back to the way it was just yet. So throw caution in the wind. Do not. And just don't be that person. Okay. So remind people again, still wear your face mask. I saw Matthew McConaughey wants to run possibly for governor in Texas. I say anybody that runs for Texas better than the one that says no face mask. Yay. It's just, that's the person you go. Do we want to invite him to the party? I don't think so. All right. We're going to take a quick break here on the morning show. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Hello, listeners. Christopher here from The Christopher Show. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about CBD. Now, CBD is not approved by the FDA as of yet. Myself, as well as millions of other people across the USA, have used it with help for pain, anxiety, sleep, and other conditions. Now, you know, all CBD products are not equal. It really matters on where you get the CBD from. Now, I suggest you get it from a qualified pharmacist, and I happen to know of one. It's at Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California. They only carry pharmaceutical-grade CBD products of the highest quality. So if you want the best, you go to Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions. Their staff is there to help you with all your CBD, pharmacy, and mobility needs. They're located at 1680 East 6th Street in Beaumont, California. Give them a call, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California, 951-845-8252.
Who is the Atua Man? Can you imagine exploring spiritual consciousness through an exotic action-adventure story? The Atua Man is masterfully illuminated in this self-discovery novel by John Stevenson. Dive into the page-turning epic hero's journey, weaving together high action with spiritual revelation. Join the Atua Man and his colorful cohorts as they travel through the majestic Hawaii, the hidden mysteries of Polynesia, and the intrigue, starting with the mysterious healing that breeds chaos in London. This journey guides us through the trials of living in the material world, arriving into enlightened consciousness, perhaps glimpse into the fabric of creation. How is the Atua Man affected by the global healing ministry surrounding him? How does he navigate the complexities of love, forgiveness, life and death, wealth and power? Find out in John Stevenson's TheAtuaMan.com, Apple Books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
Your health truly is the greatest gift. At U-Theory, quality of life is at the heart of every product we make. From farm to shelf, we travel the world to source the purest, most efficacious, and clinically studied ingredients to create science-backed supplements that support beauty, emotional, digestive, and physical well-being. All U-Theory products are manufactured at our Southern California facility, ensuring the highest quality standards every step of the way. As a family-owned company, we celebrate the power of human potential with a mission to inspire wellness in all. Try U-Theory Immune Plus Daily Wellness, 100% daily values of vitamin C, D3, and zinc. Go beyond the you of today and catch the you of tomorrow. U-Theory.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Glad to have each and every one of you with us. Wherever you're tuning in, let us know. We want to see where you're tuning in from. Lots of stories coming in from around the world. Of course, some make you kind of go, what's going on in life? I'm not sure if you saw this, Jesse, but there was a particular story which kind of like made me wonder if I wanted to actually share it. But I'm on the fence on it, literally, because it's one of those like, there's some stories you can make up, and then there's some stories you just cannot. This is one of those stories I cannot, but I'm on the fence of whether I should or shouldn't when it comes to. Okay, have you ever been invited to a Christmas dinner where you're wondering if somebody had too many drinks?
Negative.
Never had that, or a New Year's party where you're like, I think they had too much to drink there. They're just kind of sitting there.
Nope. Halloween party, yes. No.
Also, it has happened to you. Okay, all right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. According to Heather Brown, Senior Deputy District Attorney in Orange County, she said Monday as the trial began for William Wallace of Anaheim. Which William Wallace, wasn't that like a good character in Braveheart?
Yeah, wasn't that the Braveheart guy?
Yeah, that was the Braveheart. But this is William Wallace of Anaheim.
Okay.
Completely separate. Keep that in mind. Said this Christmas story does not have a happy ending. And unfortunately, this is not just a story, it is real life. Zazelle Preston, 26, was taking college classes in hopes of becoming a domestic violence counselor when she was killed in 2011 by a man who already has served jail time for beating her. The couple had gone to a neighbor's Christmas Eve party, and a neighbor described hearing an argument later that night. Well, Wallace told a member of Preston's family that we were drinking, and during the argument, I tossed her around a bit. Brown said the next morning, Wallace, get this, I kid you not, I don't know how I would deal with this. Wallace dragged his wife's body from the bedroom to the living room couch, placed sunglasses on her, and told the children, Mommy ruined Christmas. She got drunk and ruined Christmas.
No.
Yeah. That's freaky. Preston was slumped over on the couch when paramedics arrived. She left a newborn son and 2 daughters who were then 3 and 8 years old. Wallace's attorney argued that Preston died from injuries after she drunkenly tripped and fell into a glass table, shattering it. Mr. Wallace is being accused of something that's not his fault, according to Heather Moorhead, told jurors. You will hear about a relationship that was full of arguing and yelling, but also a lot of love. I don't understand the thought process here in this story. Wallace, 39, could face up to 25 years to life in prison if convicted of first-degree murder. The fact that this guy propped up the body and told the children she was drunk and then had them open Christmas presents in front of her body, that's next level insane or very, very demented. Which is it? I don't know.
It's a little bit of both to pull a weekend at Bernie's on your kids like that. That's
cruel. Like
if it really is.
That's unforgivable.
Right? Because when the kids are older, they're gonna know about this and they're gonna be like, Mommy wasn't awake. And that's therapy right there.
Yeah.
I don't even say.
Okay, so lots of love. Yeah, okay, lots of love. Let's see. Gary Swee says, very sick and disgraceful to remember your mom like that. Hope the poor kids have a good counselor, the trauma they have experienced. Yeah, right? Leslie says, if there was love, he would have called 911 and tried to save her. This shows that he had no remorse. Let's see. And Devin says, that's some sick. Poor kids as a parent. What an evil thing to do. Thank you for saying that, calling that out. That is an evil, despicable thing. Number one. Number two, who does that? I seriously thought that was just the weekend of Bernie's. I mean, that is at least funny. But this is just insane stupidity. I'd hate to be the person that had to defend him, right? I'd hate to be that person. Yeah. I just throw everything at him. Whatever the book is, just throw it all at him. Forget life. Just finish it. Let him move on and let the next world deal with that, whatever that is. I don't care what you believe in or disbelieve, but I almost sometimes go, you know what? Just let them handle that guy. Because I'm sorry. I do not. It's a story about a lot of love. I don't care if they did both fight. He did but you know what? Thank you to the person who said, you know what? A good person would have called 911, not waited till the next day to open Christmas presents and say, oh, she ruined Christmas. That's an abuser. And you know, this is what I tell to people every now and then when they get abused, right? Or fight like this. You got to be careful, right? It just takes one fight like that. Even if they both did fight, even if she was the other party that would fight, right? And the fact that he tried to obviously cover it up in such a way just shows demented mindset. And I wish he would have gotten away from that, because some people go, oh, no, it's fine, don't worry about it. And then they don't get away from it. And then they end up worse and worse. And I always, I'm always stopping shy of, what if it involves your life? If it involves your kid's life, right? What one too many hits to the head, right? One too many. One's enough. I mean, unless you're in a boxing ring and you throw yourself in that. Okay, if you're in a boxer's ring, you threw it you're right. But at least you could defend yourself in a boxing ring, right? It's not like, hey, let's go into a boxing ring and let a boxer hit you all the time. But some ladies put up with this. And I say, when have you had enough? When have you had enough? Once is too many. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I don't care if I'm mean and abuse, because you know what abusers are? They're weak. Did you know that? Yeah, I don't mind standing up to abusers, because if you can abuse a woman, then you're weak. Stand up to a man, what are you going to do? And I've seen some, they're very hateful, they'll hit men and women. But at the same time, unless you're a trained fighter, which sometimes trained fighters can get into that mode, by the way, you got to be careful if you're dating a trained fighter, because once they see red, they just go full on. which is why you hear a lot of these things. And I remember talking to another fighter who knew of fighters, and she said, yeah, I feel bad for the ladies who get with those men, because some fighters turn into real fighters, even in the home sector. So not all. I'm not saying all do that, but there you go. But my point is this: majority of them are very weak that actually go at it. So I don't mind. I would rather get a black guy for standing up for what's right than not. So there you go. Matthew McConaughey, is he going to lead Texans out of disaster as the state's governor? Well, that's a question. It's been long rumored, actually. The Oscar-winning actor hinted around the prospect to run in 2022 during the Balanced Voice podcast that's hosted by Crime Stoppers of Houston. When Crime Stoppers CEO and podcast host Rania Mancarius asked whether a run for the governor's mansion could be his next leadership role, he says it's a true consideration. His episode, which premiered Wednesday, surrounded around Texas natives' motivational memoir, Green Lights. Last November, he was asked about his political aspirations during an interview. Back then, he said the current state of politics is in need of a fix. McConaughey said, look, politics seems to be a broken business to me right now. When politics redefines its purpose, I could be a hell of a lot more interested. Since that interview, it seemed Texas government sunk deeper into ill repair, particularly in the wake of the winter storm that paralyzed the state's power grid. And I will say this, I did have a friend who called up. He's actually a really good publicist, but he and his family moved from LA to Texas. And at first I was like, that's a great move. And then he's like, we had the worst winter here. So it was like the one time that you go to move, not the best time, not the best thing to do, but they're making ends meet. And there you go. He says it is a lot more chill there. No, I'm just kidding. A lot more less coronavirus scared system, I guess. There you go. But he's kind of stuck in the middle. I had a conversation with him where I was like, so is it real? Is it not real at the end? And I think he knows it's real, but they're still like, don't get swallowed up by those around you that go, no face mask, right? So I don't care about the theories that you think you know. Just remember, there are still people dying. And when you find somebody that knows of a friend or family relative, and or you personally know, then all of a sudden it's very real and it's very, very, very serious. So there you go. But just remember, it is happening. I know some people are like, are they telling us everything? I will say this: that's a lot of money to throw at the vaccines, which of course you go, okay, but at the same time, at least there's vaccines coming. I did get a list of different vaccines coming up around the corner. There's about 15 in development right now. And so you're going to see a lot more other than the Moderna, other than the Pfizer. You will see that, of course, the latest talked about Johnson & Johnson. You'll see more coming up, which are, I hope, including the other strains. So remember, there are other strains. Make sure to talk about them and make sure to let your friends and family know there's more than just coronavirus, the original coronavirus. There's like all kinds of, I don't know if they're going to call them 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, or A, B, or C, but they got to start labeling them, right? Because these 3.1, 2.3, you know, just kind of don't cut it, right?
Is it? I thought we're on COVID 21.4.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of what it's going to be probably called. Mario says, I'm so lucky to be alive. That could have been me. Glad I got out of it. I used to believe in blow for a blow, and that made it worse. Left dead. He would protect some other lady from her man. I think he was jealous. It wasn't him beating her. Very interesting, Maria. And again, Maria, always thank you for sharing, of course, your very real story, and we appreciate you for that as well. And thank you for being alive and getting away from that. That's very, very, very true. Let's see. Algenia says, that wasn't love. Like Tina Turner says, what's love got to do with this? Bully abusers are bullies. I've learned. And let's see, Jesse, you said something there. Men that hit women and children.
Yeah, they're trash.
Thank you.
Like, if you get angry at women and children over, just like I've seen them get mad over the slightest things.
Yeah.
And it's like, I hate to see what would happen if they're left alone with no one watching.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Lucy says, I'm getting my second shot to date. Little nervous. That must be the Moderna one, right? The Moderna one is the 2-tiered one.
No, actually, she has the Pfizer shot.
Oh, the Pfizer one. Oh, okay. Okay. So it's the two. Oh, okay. Yeah, she should be fine. Okay. Yeah, I had a friend who got the Moderna second one, and boy, was she sick like for 4 or 5 days after that. Just like terrible. But But she's alive to tell the tale. But boy, oh boy, be ready for it to hit you hard. Worst case scenario. At least that was the Moderna one. Doesn't happen at all. But she's a healthy 43-year-old. So just saying. Be careful out there. Be careful. Okay, people. Again, it doesn't hit everybody the same way. So just remember that. Oh, by the way, don't forget, later on today, the Hispanic Motor Press Awards is going to be happening. So check that out. Make sure to subscribe. Find me at Aaron Michael Sanchez and or the Hispanic Motor Press. I'll be sharing it later on today. It starts at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern. We're going to be handing awards to Toyota, to Ford, and to others. I think I'm giving some glimpses of some of the winners, but I didn't say which cars. So there you go. In which category? I didn't say. So it's kind of a teaser. I shouldn't be announcing, but whatever. Okay. So anyway, and then I think we're part of the LA. I don't know. We're doing something. It's pretty cool. So from 2, they're premiering our stuff, our content. So make sure to follow. Make sure to like, applause, and or comment during the live show, and we'll feature your comments right there on the live show. All right, people. I'm out of time. Make it a great day. Don't forget. Pick up the book. It is in bookstores and or online and or Audible. We begin at the end. Chris Whitaker, and voiced by our newfound friend, Superman. Yeah. When you got to call somebody, who do you call? Superman. That's right. George Newbern, thank you very much for spending time with us. We'll see you tomorrow right here on The Morning Show. Bye-bye, everyone.